You know that feeling when you're lying next to someone, but you feel completely alone? When you wake up every morning wondering if this is really what love is supposed to feel like? When you tell yourself you're staying because you love them, but deep down there's this quiet voice asking, or am I just afraid to leave? Here's the uncomfortable truth most people don't want to hear. Many of us have spent years in relationships calling it love, when what we actually had was attachment. And the difference between the two? It's the difference between choosing someone and needing someone. Between staying because you want to and staying because you don't know who you'd be without them. So let me ask you something, and I want you to be honest with yourself. If you weren't afraid of being alone, afraid of starting over, afraid of the unknown, would you still be in the relationship you're in right now? My name is Harriet Sinclair, and I'm here today to have an honest conversation about something that affects millions of people, but rarely gets talked about with the depth it deserves. I'm not the subject of this story. I'm simply the one telling it. And what I want to explore with you over the next 20 minutes is this: the profound difference between love and attachment, and why so many good people stay in relationships that are slowly breaking their hearts. This isn't about judgment. It's not about telling anyone to leave or stay. It's about understanding. Because when you can finally see the difference between loving someone and being attached to someone, you gain the clarity to make decisions that honor your own heart. So let's begin. Before we talk about what love isn't, we need to understand what it actually is. Real love, the kind that sustains and nourishes, has a lightness to it. Not in the sense that it's always easy, but in the sense that it doesn't suffocate you. It doesn't demand that you shrink yourself to fit. It doesn't require you to constantly prove your worth. Love asks, how can I support you? Attachment demands, how can you complete me? When you love someone, you feel expanded by their presence. You grow. You become more yourself, not less. You feel safe enough to be vulnerable, to share your fears, to admit when you're struggling. And when you do, you're met with compassion, not criticism. Love is the quiet confidence that even when you disagree, even when things are hard, you're still on the same team. It's knowing that you can have a bad day, say the wrong thing, or be in a terrible mood, and you won't be punished for being human. Love feels like coming home. But here's what's tricky. Attachment can feel like home too. The difference is, one is a home that shelters you, and the other is a home you're trapped in. Attachment, in the psychological sense, isn't inherently bad. We all form attachments, to people, to places, to routines. It's part of being human. But when attachment becomes the foundation of a relationship instead of love, things start to feel heavy. Attachment says, I can't imagine my life without you, but what it really means is, I can't imagine myself without you. There's a difference. When you're attached to someone, the thought of them leaving fills you with panic, not because you'd miss the joy they bring to your life, but because their absence would leave a void you don't know how to fill. You stay not because the relationship makes you happy, but because the idea of being alone terrifies you more than being unhappy together. Attachment feels like constantly needing reassurance that they still care, feeling anxious when they're distant or pulled away, fearing that if you express your true feelings, they'll leave, staying not out of desire but out of habit and fear. And here's the heartbreaking part. Attachment often disguises itself as deep love. You tell yourself, I feel this strongly because I love them so much. But intensity isn't the same as depth. Anxiety isn't the same as passion, and needing someone isn't the same as choosing them. There's a reason so many people confuse attachment with love. They can feel remarkably similar, especially in the beginning. Think about it. When you first fall for someone, there's intensity, there's longing. You miss them when they're gone, you think about them constantly. Your mood rises and falls based on how they treat you. That's normal. That's infatuation, the early stage of romantic connection. But as time passes, healthy love evolves. It becomes steadier, calmer. You still care deeply, but you're not dependent on their attention to feel okay. You trust them. You trust yourself. The relationship adds to your life instead of consuming it. Attachment, on the other hand, stays stuck in that intensity. Years into the relationship, you're still riding an emotional roller coaster. You're still anxious about where you stand. You're still trying to earn their love instead of simply receiving it. And because we're taught that love is supposed to be intense, that it's supposed to hurt sometimes, that relationships take work, we mistake the pain of attachment for the depth of love. We think if it didn't hurt this much, it wouldn't be real. But real love doesn't hurt you. It challenges you, yes, it asks you to grow, but it doesn't make you feel small, unworthy, or afraid. So why do people stay even when they're deeply unhappy? The answer is almost always fear, but fear comes in many disguises. There's the fear of being alone. We live in a world that treats being single like a problem to solve, like you're incomplete without a partner. So even when a relationship is draining the life out of you, the idea of facing the world alone feels unbearable. Then there's the fear of wasting time. You've already given this person 3 years, 7 years, 15 years. You've built a life together, shared friends, shared routines, maybe even children. Walking away feels like admitting that all those years were for nothing. But the truth is, staying in something that's wrong for you doesn't honor the time you've invested. It compounds the loss. There's also the comfort of the familiar. Even when a relationship is painful, it's known pain. You've learned how to manage it, how to live around it. Starting over means facing the unknown, and the unknown is terrifying. Let me tell you about someone. We'll call her Maya. Maya spent 9 years with a man who wasn't cruel, wasn't abusive, but wasn't present. He loved her in his way, but his way was distant, distracted. He rarely asked how she was, rarely initiated affection, rarely seemed genuinely interested in her inner world. And Maya, for 9 years, told herself it was fine, that this was just what long-term relationships looked like, that she was asking for too much. But the truth was, Maya stayed because she didn't know how to leave. She'd built her entire adult life around this man. Her friends were their friends. Her routines revolved around his schedule. The idea of dismantling all of that, of starting over at 34, felt impossible. So she stayed, and every year, a little more of her light went out. If this is resonating with you, I want you to know you're not alone. Thousands of people are listening to this right now, asking themselves the same hard questions. And if you're finding clarity in this conversation, I'd love for you to leave a comment below, even just a word or two about what you're feeling. Sometimes just naming it helps. And if you think someone else needs to hear this, share it with them. You might be giving them permission to finally be honest with themselves. Let's talk about the difference between needing someone and choosing someone. Emotional dependency looks like this. Your sense of self is tied to their approval. When they're happy with you, you feel good. When they're upset, distant, or critical, you feel like you're falling apart. You can't make decisions without consulting them. You've lost touch with your own opinions, your own desires, because you've spent so long trying to be what they need. Emotional safety, on the other hand, looks like this. You know this person has your back. You can be yourself, your full, imperfect, complicated self, and you're still loved. You disagree sometimes, but disagreement doesn't threaten the relationship. You have your own life, your own friends, your own passions, and they celebrate that instead of resenting it. In a healthy relationship, you're two whole people who choose to walk through life together. In an attached relationship, you're two halves desperately trying to form one whole person. And here's where it gets confusing. Emotional dependency can feel like intimacy. It can feel like you're deeply connected because you can't function without each other. But that's not intimacy. That's enmeshment. True intimacy is when you can stand on your own 2 feet and still choose to lean toward each other. It's when your love isn't born from fear of loss, but from genuine appreciation for who the other person is. Let me paint you a picture with a few stories. These are fictional, but I promise you they're drawn from patterns I've seen over and over. Sarah and Daniel have been together for 12 years. On paper, everything looks fine. They don't fight much, they have a comfortable routine, but if you ask Sarah when the last time she felt truly seen by Daniel was, she'd struggle to remember. Daniel isn't mean, he just isn't there. He comes home, scrolls on his phone, watches TV, goes to bed. Conversations are surface level. When Sarah tries to talk about her feelings, he gets uncomfortable and changes the subject. Sarah has told herself for years that this is normal, that expecting more is unrealistic. But late at night, when she's lying next to him, she feels profoundly lonely, and still she stays, because leaving would mean admitting the last 12 years weren't what she needed them to be, and that's a grief she's not ready to face. James and Marcus are passionate. When things are good, they're really good. But when things are bad, it's explosive. They break up every few months, swear they're done, and then fall back together because neither can stand the idea of the other moving on. James knows this isn't healthy. His friends have told him, his therapist has told him. But when he's without Marcus, he feels like he can't breathe. So he goes back, and the cycle continues. This is attachment. It's intense, it's consuming, but it's not love. Love doesn't require you to lose yourself. Anika is 42 and has been single for 3 years after leaving a 20-year marriage, and for the first time in her adult life, she feels like she can breathe. Her ex-husband wasn't abusive, he was just indifferent. He criticized her cooking, her weight, her parenting, small digs that added up over 2 decades until Anika barely recognized